My brother was living in our walls for 3 years. It all started when my parents got a call from our brother's school saying that he had unshown up for 2 weeks. They were worried because he always had perfect attendance. My parents called his cell phone, but it went straight to voicemail. It was weird because he never let it go to voicemail. He always answered on the first ring. They tried calling me, but I didn't pick up because I was in the middle of a final exam at college. When my parents finally got through, I sounded very concerned. I told them that I hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks and that I was going to call him back once my exam was over. But really, I had just seen him the night before, but I didn't know that he'd skipped school. I knew if I told my parents where he was, they would ground him for life. So I lied and said that I hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks. I thought that maybe he was just hanging out with some friends, playing video games and stuff. But after a few days, my parents still couldn't get in touch with him, so they filed a missing persons report. The police came to our house to ask us some questions, but there was nothing we could do except wait and hope that he turned up somewhere. About a week later, my parents got a call from one of our relatives saying that our brother had shown up at their house unannounced and had been staying with them for a few days. He was totally fine, but he didn't want to go home because he was grounded for skipping school. So my parents asked our relative to send him to another relative's house, which was closer to ours. When he got there, our brother took off his backpack, sat down and said, "I'm so hungry. Can someone please make me some food?" Then he opened his backpack and pulled out a book bag filled with clothes. We were all very confused because he had been living out of his backpack for who knows how long. He told us that after he finished high school, he decided not to tell anyone that he was accepted into college. He wanted to take a gap year and travel around the country. But he didn't have enough money, so he saved up for a while and then bought a one-way ticket to California. He was planning to get a job there and work his way up to being a Hollywood screenwriter. He had been living in the walls of our house the whole time. And the reason that he only came out at night was because he was afraid that we would stop him from going to California. I didn't believe him, so I called the police and told them that he had been missing and that now he was back home and living in our walls. They searched the house and found a hole in the drywall in his old bedroom. They even brought in an infrared camera to look in the walls, but they couldn't find anything. Then my brother started crying and said that he was really sorry. He apologized to my parents for all the times that he had come out in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and the times that he had taken food from the fridge without asking. He admitted that he had been stealing money from our family to support himself, but he promised that he would pay it all back. My parents were furious, but I think that they were more relieved than anything else to have their son back. They let him move into his own apartment instead of making him live in the walls. And as for me, I just shook my head and walked away. Can you imagine? He was living right there in the walls the whole time? It's no wonder that I couldn't hear him. I'll never forget the look on our other relative's face when they found out that he had been living in our walls. You could tell that they were thinking, why are we taking care of him when he has a perfectly good house to go to?